We love getting viewer questions. We appreciate them. If you have one, just leave it in the comment section of this here video, and we may get to it in a future episode. Just like one from Ken Bryden. That name sounds a little familiar. I don't know why you have to change the D to a B, but I digress. Do you think Montreal would have won the Stanley Cup last year if Martin St. Louis was the coach then? Jess, I'll start with you.
This is a tough one because you know what? If you would have asked me, say, at the beginning of February when Martin St. Louis was first hired and had a few games under his belt, I would have said no. You know what? It really didn't matter who the coach was. Montreal really kind of rode Carey Price's coattails. He brought them there, and then they got to Tampa Bay, and they were just a much better team than them. But I don't know. Like Martin St. Louis has been able to push buttons on players, and they look completely different than they have all season long. Cole Caulfield, who we've mentioned many times, is a completely different player under Martin St. Louis. Romanov as well. So I don't know if he was the coach of this team. Maybe he would have been able to get them to another level, being able to score more goals, because that was, really one of their downfalls, and not have to rely so much on Carey Price. And maybe that would have helped them out, and things could have been different. But it's hard to say. But yeah, I think there is that possibility that this team could have done a different job against Tampa Bay Lightning if he was behind the bench.
To me, I don't think it would have really made the difference. I thought that they just ended up running into a better Tampa Bay Lightning team. As far as the personnel goals from the Canadiens, they gave everything they could possibly give and more. And that's what you want, from your players. They got that. They just ended up coming up a little short against a really well-experienced team that knew the little extras they needed to know to make the difference between winning and losing. So when you get down to those finals, it's really a fine line. And, I think that the fine line obviously went in the favor of Tampa with their guys that were experienced and knew what they needed to do to win.
The contrast is so stark this season on the results and the play of the players. But at the same time, one of the issues under Ducharme this year is that the players clearly did not believe. Last spring, they believed. And whether it was Ducharme who was the coach or St. Louis who was the coach, they didn't need somebody to tell them, to get them rah-rahed up to run through a wall, right? Shea Weber was there. Carey Price was there. They gave everything that they had. Now, would better strategies have given them a better chance against the Tampa Bay Lightning? Sure. Maybe they go out in 6 games or 7 games instead of 5. But I don't know if there was any way that Montreal Canadiens roster, with the injuries to Jeff Petrie, to Shea Weber, to Brendan Gallagher, who couldn't shoot because of his hand, if they could have possibly beat that Lightning team. They were just so legit. And that power play was so lethal that I'm just not sure what they could have done. That power play for the Lightning was just unbelievable. I think going into that finals, they were over 40% in the playoffs. What can you do against that, especially when you have a team full of defensemen who like to hack and whack, right? When you're taking one penalty and that goes against you, it's a tough situation to beat that kind of team. And Andrei Vasilevsky, again, was fantastic in the finals. It was the first time in the playoffs where they faced somebody who was playing on Carey Price's level. So they just had too much going for them. I don't know if the Canadiens could have done it.
I also wonder, with Martin St. Louis and his coaching strategies with the team right now, how that would have changed in a postseason setting. I mean, yes, he would have still had Carey Price. Yes, he would have had that fantastic fourth line with Eric Stahl, Yoel Armia, and Corey Perry doing damage against opposing teams. And yeah, maybe he would have unlocked guys like Cole Caulfield in that postseason run. I'm just curious how that would have also worked against teams like a Toronto or a Winnipeg or Vegas. I mean, the Canadiens had the recipe to beat all 3 of those teams. Maybe Martin St. Louis just kind of copies that and then just tries to think, okay, how do we go about beating the stacked Tampa Bay Lightning? I would say no, too, just because the Lightning are really good. The Lightning are still good now. They could go for a 3-peat. A lot of people are kind of sleeping on them. They're not playing their best hockey as of late. This team could easily do it again this year because they know how to do it. But I don't know if Martin St. Louis would have necessarily been enough to get the Montreal Canadiens over the hump. Jess, since you're not going to be on the show for the foreseeable future because of mommy duties, I will let you have the last word on this bonus video. If you have any other thoughts about this question, you can really just say what you want at this point. You can just say whatever you want. Who cares? You don't even have to be about the question. You can just be about whatever you want.
You know what? I think it just shows that with sports that once you have the momentum going for you, anything can really happen. And that's really what we saw with the Montreal Canadiens. Was it coaching? Was it goaltending? It was that momentum that switched things for the Habs. It was that series against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they kept proving people wrong. And sometimes, on paper, it doesn't make any sense, but that's why with sports, it's not a science. It's whatever ends up actually happening in real life. And it was just, a really fun way to cover the team. And hopefully when I'm back at the 2023-2024 season, it will be another Stanley Cup run. That's just my prediction. I'm going to make it now.
All right. I think that's a good way to end off this bonus episode. So just write in the comment section what you think. If the Canadiens would have won a cup with Martin St. Louis behind the bench. Thank you, Ken Bryden. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge for that question. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out newsletter, montrealgazette.com/newsletters, and visit hockeyinsideout.com for full episodes and other fun stuff. Peace.